Good night, everyone, and welcome back to the Nocturnal Corner with Bat. And this is going to be the Beginner's Guide, page 2, for resource gathering and crafting. This is going to be your video on how you can get more resources, what different methods you can to get resources, and what you can do so you can start crafting better gear. Of course, let's just nip it in the butt. If you don't want to do that, you can always just play the market. However, that is going to cost you in real life money or a whole lot of grinding to start selling, okay? Now, I am going to cover that just a little bit here. Okay, so, shop, you're going to go to coins, and not coins, sorry, you're going to go to cross coins, because you're going to need the cross crowns before you can actually get the coins. So if you really want to spend some money, like my dumbass, you could purchase these, and then you can go over the coins with a certain amount you got, and then you can use that to basically get whatever amount of coins that you so desire. Okay? So cross crowns go into coins. Now another method you could do is you could buy the packs to get coins. They don't give you cross crowns, they just give you straight up coin. So you see you got 4,000, 4,000, 1,500, 1,250, so forth and so forth. Okay, so you could do that to get some coins, and then you could go over here, right? And you could buy the selected resources that you want, so that way you can go into crafting. Or if you just want to sell all your resources and everything, you could just, buy, because you're probably going to go for blues or whatnot because you're starting early game, and the more the rarity, the better the rarity, it's going to be more expensive. So here at blue, you're looking at like 57, 47. It's going to be different depending on if you're Xbox or PC. I'm pretty sure PC is going to be your cheapest one, but consoles, since we're a little bit lower player base, sadly our player market is going to be a lot more expensive than what they offer. Now, just to show you the difference, yeah, you can definitely see the difference in coins. And if you're just going and selling all your resources, so say you play a crap ton of games and all those games are going to be giving you like 25 scrap, and you're just like, I'm just going to sell my scrap. Well, here, 1,000 scrap is 64. So you're definitely playing the long game. However, it is definitely possible. You could start grinding out resources, constantly selling. You could grind out like your events and everything, your challenges, and you can also get resources that way. So that's going to be the second way you can get resources, is you want to do your challenges here and you want to get these badges. Alright, and when you get these badges, you can go to the badge exchange and you can claim these resources. You can claim certain structural parts that I don't see it here, so I'm not sure if that's still a thing. But you could also get these crates, so that way you can get a random weapon. However, if you do want to keep that weapon, you got to try to keep in mind, it's right here, you're going to get one of these random options because they changed the way the crates work, sadly, in the badge exchange. However, if you want to get more coins that way, you can also sell it from there. Okay, so that's going to be your first two methods of really getting resources. So you can obviously buy it from the market, and another good way is doing the challenges to get the badges. However, the badges, they kind of nerfed it a little bit for solos, so you're not going to get as much as you used to. So you're kind of going to need a clan, so that way you can really start grinding out what there is. Alright? Now, say if you just have a bunch of random crap, you could just, say this one right here. You could salvage, but it might honestly be better just to sell it for coin, because you're not going to get a whole bunch. I mean, the only one that might be worth it is if you salvage like legendary decor, because it gives you like electronics and whatnot. But usually people are going to tell you not to salvage items, that it's better to just sell it and then buy whatever you want. So if you do buy packs and you don't care about all the pack stuff, you could get those coins and then you can sell everything in the pack. However, usually that pack stuff is going to be a little bit harder to get, so it's not usually recommended to sell such items unless you already have a plentiful quantity already. Okay? So that is going to be the three methods so far, is market, badges, and salvaging, which salvaging is going to be the worst one in most people's opinion. Now, the regular one, which is just playing the game, you definitely have the regular methods right up here, to where you can get the scrap, get the wires, and get the batteries, where you're going to be playing your regular game modes. However, if you don't want to do PvP and you're just wanting something a little less stressful, you could do patrol and patrol will give you the scrap. However, it is going to be a bit less, so it will be easier. You know, that 8v8, 8 like players and sometimes bots versus 8 bots. So, you know, bots do have that auto aim, so they can be annoying, but obviously they're not going to be as big of a challenge as a regular player. Now, this one will be locked when you first start off for a little bit, but this is going to be another, basically the same mode where you could get copper. But this one is going to be taking basically the fuel. So as you can see at the bottom, this is taking 5 fuel. And if you want to get things like plastic, electronics, and copper, you are going to have to sacrifice fuel, so that way you can continue playing those raid modes, which are going to be basically PvE, you know, but it's not going to be the same as, you know, the regular mission. So you're not doing 8v8. No, this is actually like, for example, Frontier Defense, where you go and you hold down a point versus waves of different enemies. And then you got, are they all a Frontier Defense? Oh, here we go. Data theft, and you got like War for Fire, and you know, you protect the truck, you stop the enemy from coming. You have ones where you drive all the way to the objective, collect it, come back, and there's usually going to be like a mini boss that you have to fight. Another one you could do is Invasion, which gives you a decent amount of copper. However, it's going to be recommended that you take a rather powerful vehicle, because this one is going to be you versus 3 different Leviathans. So if you're not prepared, you could definitely get wrecked. Alright, so besides, and then you see these stars, those basically are the difficulties on raid, and you can see by the over here, that PvE raid, you're going to need that type of power score before you can even attempt doing these. So if you can't make an 8,000 power score build, sadly the only way you can get this is if you salvage, you know, one of those legendary things as I told you about, or you're going to have to buy it from the market. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, you're probably wondering to yourself, how do you get more fuel so you can continue doing raids? Basically, every day you're going to get your fuel right back up to 200, so you always start out with 200 every day. You could also buy fuel from the market, because that is something you can also sell. So if you want to also grind out some fuel to sell, that is another option you can do. And then finally, the last thing you can do is, since you are in the engineer faction, right off the bat, you can come down and build a fuel barrel, where every time you win, however, it's not just winning. You have to be alive, and you have to make sure that your fuel barrel is not destroyed. Okay? So you have to do all 3 of those. Fuel barrel not destroyed, stay alive, and win, just so you can get 5 fuel. Okay? Another thing about that is, if you do level up enough, you can get the fuel tank, which is going to take that fuel barrel and the Docker cabin. And you can see by the resources, you're definitely going to need a decent amount of scrap before you can get in there, okay? Versus this one, where it's only 60 and 12. Alright, and that is something else you got to keep in mind, is, you know, the higher the rarity. So let's go here, because, you know, it's kind of, now you see right here, now you're going for wires, plastics, but you can also see you need the 2 blues. Now say you want to build a blast off, you're going to need the 2 whites plus this. So you got to ground out all that, get these 2, build that, and then you got to have that just to build this, which is going to be about the same amount of resources, just so you can build this. And then so you can come over to purple, and you can see right here, now you need 3 of those, and then you need this amount of resources. So the resource gain is going to be a little bit grindy unless you have the coins to really play for it. Again, if you want to do speed through, you can just buy packs, you can put your money into the game, but you don't really have to. In, you know, just playing, you can get a decent amount of everything. However, there is something that kind of stops you a little bit, and what's interesting about that is it's not going to be part of a raid. So as you can see here, you can actually get an unlimited amount of raid items, and I think that's because they kind of force you to use fuel, so you got to play to get the fuel. But however, in the missions where you get, you know, batteries, the the wires and scrap, there is a limit. So if you look right there, down to received 446 out of 6,750, there is literally a limit you have every week before it resets. Now, if you see right below it, rewards will be increased by 50% if you have premium description. That 6,750 is actually a lot more than what you get if you don't have the premium description. So this right here, this premium subscription, is basically what you're going to need so you can get even more resources. And anybody will tell you that if you're really going to go hard in Crossout, having that subscription is very beneficial for you. However, it can be, you know, you're basically having to put money into the game, because here we go. So if you want a whole year, that's going to be 1,000 cross crowns, which in total is right here, $100. So yeah, that's a bit expensive. It's actually maybe a little less than 100, maybe. Let's see, that's 7 plus that. Yeah, so you could probably get it for just around like $75. Okay. However, if you do wait until like special holidays, or usually towards Christmas, towards the end of the year, they will do like this 50% off, or like a lot cheaper. So that way, if you want to get the whole year subscription, you can get it for far less than $100. I think the deal they had last time, I got this for like $30, and I was like, yeah, that's fine, I'll do that. Okay. So now you know how all basically the resources work. Now there is something else is that you could do, and you could do the clans here, and you could do the brawls, and you could even do the awakening. Now Bedlam is not going to give you resources. This is just you driving around, hanging out with other people, nothing really there. Clans are going to be special because in clans, there's the only ones that when you start winning, you can get uranium, and that's going to be the only place that you can get uranium, which is going to be for the very big deluxe weapons called relics. However, that's something you're not really going to have to worry about until you're far into the game, because relics are very expensive. And if you thought the 4,000 for a legendary, which is like what, $60 or something, like it's pretty expensive, well, relics are probably like 46,000. So yeah, that's like I don't even know, I'm not doing the math right now, but that's like around $600 or something. So it's just outrageous if you want to put actual money into the game. So that's why it's better to play the game, get good at the game, join a good clan, and then you can just grind out uranium one day. And once you start grinding out uranium, you basically can get anything in the game, because uranium is very expensive. So if you can get to that winning streaks in clans, congratulations. All of this is irrelevant, because now you can just start selling uranium and you can get literally anything in the game. Pretty simple, but easier said than done. It's definitely not going to be an easy task, especially if you're a new player. You're going to have to grind out a hell of a lot of hours before you unlock everything. Now the difference here, I'm just going to say this, Leviathan, it's just there's a Leviathan, a big ass vehicle that has a bunch of guns, and then this is just a standard 4v4, okay? Now this one, the clan confrontation, you do not get uranium, but you do get a better amount of scrap versus missions. And if you do the brawls, and you actually get like winning in the brawls, you can actually get even more scrap than if you're just doing regular missions. However, in that case, for all of them, the better you play, the more resources you get. So, and that goes for even the raids. So if you're topping off first, you know, with the MVP, and you're getting a decent amount of score, the better your score, the more resources you're going to get in the long run, okay? Now, the resources here in Awakening, you can just basically do the little modes, and they'll give you like, you know, a nice bit of resources, but after you do everything, it's gonna basically be not really worth coming here for resources. No one's gonna tell you to go to Awakening. So if you want to do the little, you know, story missions, you can. It'll give you like a decent amount. If you want to drive around and pick up the junk off the floor, that gives you like if you're lucky, 5 copper or 2 scrap or whatever. By all means, go ahead, but you're going to be taking a hell of a lot more time than if you just play the regular game modes, okay? So that is another thing to keep in mind. So now you're going to crafting, okay? So that's going to be all the ways to get your resources. Now if you want to start getting into the crafting versus market, yes, you can sell everything on the market, get coin, and buy what you want. But if you want to be a crafter, and you might have to be a crafter when you're first starting because you know the market's going to be locked and you're not really going to have any coin or anything yet, or maybe you do have coin but you know you can't do anything with it yet, so you're going to have to craft so that way you're not just getting your ass handed to you in the early game. So we're going to come over here to engineers because this is the faction you're going to start out with. You're going to come into the whites so that way you can start getting your vehicle up and running. And you're going to have a whole bunch of options here that some of them might be locked until you start leveling up. But you can see here once you start gathering those resources, it's going to show you that you are good to go. This is going to be a cost, and yes, this is kind of shitty and you know, a bit greedy, some people would say, but the higher the rarity, it's actually going to start costing you coin to build. And here, let's go to this one because, you know, engineers kind of skip these two tiers. You can see now it's like at 4, and you're like, oh, that's not too bad. Now it's at 11, and now it's, for whatever reason, at 56. And yeah, it's not too bad, you know, it's just a little bit of coin here and there. But that's still, like, it's still costing you coin, which sucks. So that means you're basically gonna have to sell something eventually if you want to start grinding out. But if you get the premium subscription, you just play and go through 2 battles, win or lose, doesn't matter, you will get 40 coins. But if you don't want to go and buy that, no problem, you actually get 15 free coins every day. So that'll help you cost this without having to sell anything right off the bat. However, if you're trying to just, you know, gun-ho right throughout the day, you're gonna probably have to sell something. Okay, let's go back to the engineers. So now you got the resources, you're all good to go. You see the cost, you got the cost covered. You're just gonna come over here, you're gonna hit craft, and luckily this one doesn't have any wait time. So as soon as you hit craft, it's going to be available. It's going to show it right up here at the top. Here, you know what? I'm just going to do this for you guys. Hit yes. And then there you go, right into your storage. Now, things that do cost time. So, see 2 coins. Yes, you got it. But you're missing these 2. So if you don't want to buy it here, you can do like a quick buy right from the market, right? If you don't want to do that, just come over here to acquire. It's going to drop you off right here. You can just build that. It's going to come up, show as 1. Do the same with this one. You could buy it or do that. Alright, done. Back out. And now you can go build this. But now it's going to take 15 minutes before this thing is built and ready to go. So that is something else that you're going to have to kind of keep in mind. And you know what? Just because I kind of want another Hermes booster anyway for my Leviathan. Alright, so let's see. Well, we got the engine already. It looks like we got the resources we need. However, we are missing a boom and we are missing a buzzsaw. So let's go here to boom. What are we missing? I'm missing a fuel tank and I'm missing a wasp. Now this is something else that they updated, is if it is in like multiple factions, well, don't worry, you don't have to have lunatic selected anymore. Now you can build in any faction, and the only reason you select another faction is because that's the faction you're going to level up. So this doesn't really matter. So since I want this, let's go back to acquire. I am missing these 2. Okay, no problem. Gonna go here. I need that Avenger cannon. Let's hit craft. Yes. Bam. Oh, I need the fuel tank. Okay, go acquire. Hit this. Bam. Okay, fuel tank ready. Alright, so now our wasp is ready to build. We're going to hit craft again. Yes. And now it's going to take up to 15 minutes. So you can wait this 15 minutes, or you can do a boost, which is going to cost you more coin right here. Alright, and the less time, the cheaper it's going to be. So if you really don't want to wait that 15 minutes, which 15 minutes isn't too bad, you just play like 3 to 5 games and it'll be done faster than you think. It's when you start making like fucking Cions and Purples and up that it's going to take like 2 hours, 8 hours, and then 12 hours. So it is something to keep in mind if you're just trying to do it. Every now and then they'll do little promos that you don't have to wait this, like what they had this weekend that just passed. But you're just going to have to wait for that, and then while that's building, you can just come over here and do the same thing. So I'm going to do this real quick again. However, I'm just going to buy these ones from the market. So that's as easy. If you have the coin, you can just buy it from the market. Do that. Going to wait for that one to build, and then right when those 2 are done building, you check Look, it's all good, ready to go. This is going to take 2 hours when that's done, and then hit craft, and now the boom is going to be getting built. And then as soon as the boom is being built, so when these are crafting, though, something to keep in mind. Yes, you can build in multiple factions, however, in each category, so the rare, the specials, and so on, you can only have one thing building at a time. So say you want to build this sledgehammer shotgun, but you already have the wasp building. Well, you can't actually build this until this is done. So yes, you can gather the resources, you can have everything ready, but you cannot build this until the wasp is done. But if you need something from nomads, you can see nothing building. Alright, you can go and build something here, and that'll be building. So you can build, you know, rares, but they have to be in different factions, okay? So as soon as that's done building, and you still want the boom, you're just gonna, well, not the boom, but what was it? I'm pressing all the wrong buttons right now. You need the buzzsaw. Go here, acquire. Alright, I already got one of those. I need this. That is already building. But as soon as this is done building, I can just come build this. And this will be ready to go. However, the boom is going to be building first. And that's basically how it's going to work. Okay, guys? Boom, bada bing. Real simple, real easy crafting. However, the trick is honestly grinding out all the materials you need, because as you can see here, well, I can get the scrap, I can get 100 scrap rather easily, but that's 100 plus this, and this. So think about that. This is, let's see, if you want that, you gotta have these resources. Oh, now you gotta build that. You gotta have that 650, right? So you can see that the grind is really coming, and it's really for those resources that the grind is coming. Of course, if you have enough coin, you're just like, you know, getting right up there. You could just buy the resources. If you don't want to buy it for 100, you could go to trade, and then you could just go here and buy it for like that. Okay, and you can see that's 637 coins just so you can get 1,000 plastics, and 1,000 goes down rather quickly if you build 10 epics. Okay. And you know what, let's go back to that real quick, and you can see already normal missions, raids, right? So let's see, shotgun. Let's see, normal missions, one raid, medium raid. Alright, and medium is the 2 stars. So you can see it's going to start collecting, and you're going to need to get your power score up higher for these type of raids and so forth. Okay? And that's basically how you're going to be crafting, and of course, like I said, you can go through each faction if you so please. However, you're going to be in the engineers first, so when these are all locked, you know, you can just hover over it and it'll tell you what level you got to be before you unlock it. So if you want to save your resources, say you don't really want the huntsman or the sprinter, you really want the docker, which is a terrible choice, then you can just wait until you're leveled up all the way to get the docker. If you don't want these small wheels and you're just like, I want something a little bit better, maybe something a bit tougher, you can just wait until you get the medium wheels, pop those things on your vehicle, and you're good to go. And it's basically going to be the same way with these factions. Not everything here is going to be unlocked, so you're going to have to unlock everything while you're leveling up in the blues, and then you can unlock everything in cyan when you start leveling up. Okay? In some cases, it's better to plan out what you want. So, like I said, when you have a playstyle you like, so you want to be a long-range tank, you want to be running gun with shotguns, you want to be unguided rocket artillery, whatever you want to be, you can basically plan out, go through each faction, and try to use your resources wisely. Okay? So, you know, get something that you have fun, you're going to enjoy using while you still got it. And that's why I say, if you're going to start crafting, you can test out all those different ways by, you know, you got medium range, close range, long range. If you want something that can carry more weight, you can get the docker, play somewhat as a tank. If you want to be more of a medium build, you can play as the huntsman over here. If you want to be something a little bit lighter and quick but not carrying as much weight, you can get the sprinter. And basically these commons are going to give you a little taste of where you can go when you're starting off the game. And then of course you got like your little modules here, hardware, because I keep forgetting they change it. You can click this, so that way you can radio in, get better, like, you know, transmission with your allies. You got the radiators, so if you're using shotguns, you know, things that don't reload, this will help benefit you there. This is going to be your radar, so that way you can see them better on your mini map. And, you know, it's going to be all towards your type of play style. And that's why I said you just kind of want to think about where you're going to go with this. And then, of course, you know, this is when you're getting up there, you can start going for generators, and this will give you more energy, so that way you can get better modules. Alright, so you can see these are mainly, this is kind of a poor example. They don't really get all their modules until purples, so that is something to keep in mind. If you're going to be running not shotguns, but machine guns, or maybe shotguns, you know, you do got some things that you can do for other factions that you might be able to get a little bit sooner. Or maybe not, maybe I'm just retarded. Oh yeah, there's the RNCO. I could have sworn it was blues. Am I losing my mind? Oh, okay, so I think they... Yeah, okay. So I do apologize for that. These used to be in the other factions, and they switched it over to engineers. I apologize. I was looking kind of like an idiot. Well, then that just means that the engineers are going to benefit you even more. Because now you even get better cannons. Now you get auto cannons, which is going to be like a cross between a machine gun and a cannon. You're going to start getting wall guns, which are going to give you a little bit more defense, but limited angle. And then here is going to be your radiator and your cooler. And you're even going to get your ammo box, which is going to be important if you're going to be using cannons. And then if you want to be a little bit longer range, you got your... you know, your horizon over here, so that way you can zoom in better. And you know, you got some medium balloon wheels and so forth, and yeah, you basically get the picture. And basically that's going to be it for crafting and resource gathering. It's very simple, nothing like too complicated. You just got to know what you're really doing. Also in crafting, there is the technology tree and there is building. So this, again, this is not something that's really going to help you in-game. This is just to make your base look a little cooler. If anything, you could just... I would say just leave your garage the way it is. If you need anything, only the damage spear really helps you out. So that way you can keep track of how much damage you're using. But I don't think that's going to be a craftable item. That's something you might have to buy from the market. Yep, sadly that is going to be the case. Ooh, and they got the Chinook back. That used to not be there anymore. And just in case I'm not being stupid, I am going to check. And yeah, sadly the damage spear is not here. But having the garage the way it is already, doop doop, you could just test out your range. Alright, so let's go back real quick to the technology tree. Technology tree is just something kind of interesting. It shows you all the machine gun types that there are, all the shotguns, auto cannons, rocket launchers, and you can basically see where all of them are coming from. So say you're wanting to look at all the machine guns and you're like, okay, so this is the one I could start out with. Okay, these are the two that I could get. Since I'm a newer player, I could start working my way up to these from the chords. You can come over here, you can hit acquire. You're like, oh, it's in the Nomad faction, okay, and this is how I'm going to build it. Alright, and you basically do the steps that I showed you, and then you can do similar things, and you could either buy it from here or whatnot. You have to keep in mind that some items are not craftable, and they were just like, you know, like it says right down here, pack already bought. Right here you see the little symbols. That means it's going to be a little bit harder to get because those are going to be items that are not craftable. So some of these are going to be like DLC items and whatnot, or special event items like this one. So if there is an item that you do like and you don't want to have it to where it's like behind these little paywalls, of course you could go and you could check the market, you could see what is selling, and you could sell that thing for that higher coin, and it'll be about the same resources as everything else. And then you can go and you can actually just buy these from the market instead of if you really don't want to use anything else here, okay? Alright, so I do believe that'll cover resources and crafting. It's very simple. You can basically get resources a few ways. Crafting, you know, you just got to know what faction you're looking at. Of course, I am going to say this, since, you know, we are kind of covering factions over here. If you want to get these factions over here, you know, the fire starters, Steppenwolves, and Dawn's Children. I covered this in the, you know, my introduction video, so you can get some different items. These also come with their own craftable items, like I said. You are going to have to level up these 3 bad boys here. So, say you choose Lunatics, right? And you really want to be a fire starter eventually, you are going to have to get to, like, I think it might be level 10 Lunatics to unlock fire starters, level 10 Nomad to unlock Dawn's Children, and then of course Steppenwolves is going to be Scavengers. Now there is other factions here, but these are going to be more battle pass factions, so it's not really, that's why you can see like 119, 87, you know, 72 versus all of these being 15, and that's just because they are battle pass factions, and sadly if you missed it you might have to wait for them to come back or whatever. I do not think they are going to be available to you, just because again they are just battle pass factions, so I do apologize. If you do want their stuff however, so say the founders, oh hey, the trigger, that's a pretty good weapon. If you're good at accuracy you can just melt weapons right off. Say you want this, and you know you can't get these weird resources, or not resources, these weird weapons like the summoner nail gun and so forth. However, you could get these from, you know, the normal factions. You are basically gonna have to go to the market and you're gonna have to buy it. Like as you can see, it doesn't even say acquire, because luckily I was here for that faction, and if you don't have it you sadly can't acquire it without having to buy it from the market. Alright guys, alright, so that's going to be the factions, and you know I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with the factions, alright, so that way you know we're already basically covering what they do. Now another thing about the factions is they do give you these blueprints, okay? You can basically come and see them all. You can test drive them if you so please, but these are just basically pre-made cars, and each faction is going to have them. They're not all going to be available to you. You're going to have to level up to unlock these blueprints as well. And like I said, you can test drive. And if you do see like a blueprint you really like and you just for whatever reason want to play as that blueprint, you're just going to come over here to your blueprints. Let's see, I'm going to show you that one more time. See, right in your garage, right here, come down, blueprints, go to your factions, right next to your saved, and you can basically see all the faction blueprints. So you know we were just looking at the armadillo, here it is. You can come over here to not enough parts and you can see what you're missing, and if you do assemble it, it'll basically build everything that you just don't have, okay? And then you can just, you know, go back into it and you're like, alright, well, I get it, I'm gonna have to fix it. You got your sprinter or whatever. There we go. And now you can just fix it up to how your heart's content. Okay? Now let's go back to factions real quick. Now these parts are just going to be the same as the engineers. However, the engineers is going to be the only one that'll upgrade your part limit. So you know when you're coming down here, I wonder if it's going to show it right here. See that 80 part limit? You got to unlock it at level 25. Alright, 74, level 22. These are going to be the only faction that's going to give you that part limit thing. And right here, this is what I tell people all the time. Level 10 is very important because this is where you start unlocking your, like, most of your actual in-game stuff, and you don't even get the full 200 gasoline until you're even a level 10. So you can see all the factions and everything are unlocked, ready to go. And then you got like the little special events. So now you have access to the brawls. Now you can do the game center. You can do the clan confrontation. You can get the wires. Now you can start doing armored aircraft and so on and so forth. Alright? And here we go. If you want to start doing raids, this is going to have to be level 4. And you get the brawls right here. Alright? You get the level 5. You're going to get your 100. And this is where you're going to access patrol if you're getting your butt kicked. And sadly that means you're not going to be able to just face bots until you're at level 5. So, you know, good experience when fighting players. Okay guys? Oh, and here, if you really want to level up, like I said before, decor items, they are not a craftable thing. Sadly, you're going to have to, you know, get them by other means. I think you could get them in here if you come to the bottom. If you do get this decor chest, you could do this, or it's going to be another item that you can get from the market. Alright? Just come over to the decor, and here you go. Now, like I said, these do take a part limit spot, but they will help you level up a bit quicker. And you do get two separate leveling up for your factions. Alright, so if you see right here, that little bar here, and the little bar here for the engineers, obviously you got the little diamond for all of them that looks like they're leveling up. However, it's just going to be the ones that you have selected. And if you see that right off to the side, it does tell you when your crafting is done. So now you can come, click on these, right? Or you could come in here and click on it if you don't want to do that. Alright, you grabbed it, come over here. I am ready to build the boom. It's going to be the same thing, cost some coins. However, this one's going to be 2 hours. Yes, and there you go. Basically, rinse and repeat. Now let's see if there's anything else. Now, this is, like I said, it's going to be the same for all these factions. So here you go. You're going to have to basically level up. And look, I was right. Level 10 to get the fire starters. Okay? And obviously, you know, like I said, no man's our children, so far and so forth. Okay? Alright, just giving you a little look at that. And that's basically going to be it. Very, very simple. And that's going to be your introduction to crafting and resources, and kind of also factions as well. But it's nothing too hard, guys. It's like, the bad part is going to be a bit of a grind. So you saw how many scrap it's going to be. If you play one game, even with the premium subscription, and you do very well, you're probably going to get like around, like on average, 45 scrap. So it is going to be a bit of a grind, but if you do play with some buddies, it will make it better for you. Having the premium subscription will also make it better for you. So honestly, I don't even, like, here just to prove a point on that, this whole thing I had over here, right here, all this scrap that I had, what was that, like 3,000 when the video started? You can see it just dropped down like 1,000 right there, like barely anything, just getting to the Cyan part, not even an epic part, and I'm already down 1,000 scrap, right? But when I played the game, when I was just playing on my own, I didn't even think I had 3,000 scrap. I thought I had like 50 or something. And just playing the game, trying to enjoy myself, playing with friends, I got up there in no time. Right? It's not as bad as it may think, but if you kind of like think about it and start putting your mind like, I need to get better stuff, I'm just getting my ass kicked, blah blah blah, yeah, it is gonna kind of affect you. But anyways, guys, that's going to be this quick tutorial on crafting factions and resources. And if you did enjoy this, please think about leaving me a like and subscribe. And I do hope to see you in our next tutorial video. You guys have a great day and a great night. Take care, everyone.